Hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good day, wherever you are. All right, another weekly stream. So welcome everyone. For everyone who's going to watch that later, I just do the quick intro as always. So welcome everyone. I hope you all had a great week. I hope you're all doing good, and you have better weather than in Berlin, because in Berlin it's raining all day. For today, we will continue to paint on this image. I haven't painted on that since the last stream, so we will directly continue where we left it last time. And the plan for today is basically just continue to refine that, paint it. Not really adding much, more like just refining all those areas. Maybe using some photos, finding some photos, etc., etc. And depending on how much time spent and how much energy I have, and how much I want to paint tonight, because I already had a very long work day, we will paint on that. And if I gonna lose, or if I don't want to paint anymore, I probably play some games later on. It depends, because I just downloaded some stuff, and I don't know if I'm gonna have the energy also for that, but let's see. Also would be the first time me playing on stream, and I think I will also do that only on Twitch later on. So if we gonna play games later on, I will probably restart a stream, so it is not on YouTube, because the channel is really for the educational content and not really for games. But if you like to join, then you can also watch that on Twitch. But yeah, let's see. First of all, we gotta do some work. We gotta continue, have a little bit of progress with the image, which is important. And I'm just happy that I managed to get everything done at work today, so that we can progress with this image, because it's basically, to be honest, it's really the only time I have in a week to work on this image, on this specific image. Hey Miss Boy, welcome to the stream, and hey everyone else who just joined. But as mentioned, like, those streams are really the only time for me working on this image here, or actually working on other stuff. Just too much to do. Please give me a feedback if the music is too loud, or if I'm too quiet, or the opposite. If I am too loud, or... The good thing about the weekly stream is definitely that it forces me to work on one image longer than just for a couple hours. But to be honest, when I thought about this image today while I was working, I didn't felt a lot of joy thinking about it, just painting on it. Just, I don't know. I guess I'm just a little bit tired today. It's also this weather change, this constant change of weather here in Berlin. Like, it's super humid and it's raining, but also hot at the same time. So it's really not cool. It's just annoying. Anyways, yeah, feel free to grab a coffee, a drink, or just chat, join the conversation, or paint and draw along as you like, study along. Those streams are really for you, or for the community and everyone who just joined to, I don't know, to start maybe drawing, painting. If you don't feel motivated, inspired to paint and draw today, those streams are like, should just spark a little bit of motivation, just so you start with an image. But don't feel forced to it, do whatever you like. Yes, we were hit by the heat wave. It was just way too loud. Also, if an emergency truck or like any type of emergency vehicle drives by and is super loud, and if you guys can hear that on stream, please let me know, because then I will close my window. But otherwise I keep it open, so I'm not gonna sweat to death, because it's really freaking loud for me. Yeah, but it's getting very hot here. We had like, I don't know, 28, 30 degrees. So it was a little bit hot, but it was okay. The gyms were quite empty, which was cool. Really enjoy that. Like, not many people want to work out, which I'm happy about. So I can work out as much as I like. Oop. Where you at? Hey Oliver, how's it going? How you doing? Hey Ruducci, how's it going? How are you doing, sir? Oh, in Kansas. Yes, I'm well. Thank you for asking. Just normal full workday. Got a lot of stuff done today, which is good. I love productive days. And now it's just about having fun, talking with you peeps, and yeah, enjoying the evening, I guess. maybe also playing, I don't know. I'm really thinking if I should play something tonight. Because I haven't played a game since, I don't know, very, very long time. But yeah, if we do that, we not going to do that on YouTube, just on Twitch, to keep the educational content clean on the channel. But yeah, not sure if I'm gonna do it. Depends on how good we progress, and if I'm happy with the progression, then I'm maybe going to reward myself. By the way, I announced on the community that we will have in the future, in a very near future, we're going to have a feedback stream. So as I wrote it in the community, and if you're not a part of the community, feel free to join. Just go on the banner. There's a Discord button. You can join our community. And how it will work, you basically can post one artwork in the chat. You have to tag it with stream feedback. And if we have enough, and if I have the day in mind when we're going to stream, I will basically do overpainting or a feedback. And depending on how many images we have, it's going to be that long. So if we're gonna have, like, I don't know, 30 images, I mean, if we're going to have 30 images, we maybe have to split it. Because I don't think it's going to be the same as the portfolio review session where I gave 5 hours of portfolio review feedback. That was really insane. Even for me, it was really a lot. So I would say, yeah, maybe we can also split it on more than one day or more than one stream. But anyways, the other cool thing, which I thought maybe would be interesting for some of you, I will open a voice channel on the art community. And when your feedback is on, you have the chance to just join me in the channel, and we can talk actually. So I'm not reading, like, I'm not just talking, because like last time when we did the review session, I was basically reading everything from chat, and also to see if, like, the things I told and said, if they will be useful. And I was always waiting for that feedback, so it slowed down the whole process. And I find it very interesting also to have a conversation with you, because I find it's important. Sometimes you have a certain story in mind, or you had an idea, but you maybe couldn't visualize it. So I thought it would be a cool option just maybe to have a chat while we look over your image, like a real feedback session you would have in school or in a one-on-one mentorship or whatever. So yeah, that's the plan. So if you want to participate there, feel free to just post your work, tag it with stream feedback, and yeah, and then let's see how many people we get together, and then we can do that. Hey Murat, how's it going? Cooking omelets on the road. Solid. Nothing wrong about omelets. I'm just enjoying my evening. It's a bit too contrasty. We need to make it more a part of the shadow area here. So that's how it is right now. But I don't want to have a big contrast here. So I'm trying to find the right value grouping here. And I also have the image in small on the left side, just to see it as a small thumbnail. I think you cannot see it. It's basically like this. It's the same size like this. And I'm just looking if the value structure and the value separation is working. And looking from very far, you see when I put... you guys actually cannot see the slider here. It's because of the stream, but I'm basically just moving the levels adjustment. And what you can see is if I keep it like it is, it stands out in terms of values. So it's bright, pretty bright against the darker background of the wall. That's why we need to darken it a little bit down, not too much, but just as much as it is not competing with our other focal points, because it's just a side story element or just a part of the setting. Hey Miguel, welcome to stream. Thanks for the Twitch follow. I very much appreciate it. Alrighty, so let's continue. Let's darken that fellow down a little bit. And when you decide on what type of value you have, it's always great to just switch it from black and white to color, just to see, okay, is it actually worked like I wanted to? Looks pretty good to me. Now I can also see if I'm gonna slide the contrast slider a little bit. But you have to be careful because it can be also become very dark very fast. So it's really an act of balancing out the stuff. And the thing is, like, also we can later on consider, okay, if we want to give it a little bit more, just a little bit more of a focal point, which we actually don't want, but just in case, you can always add light later on to the image. So I personally, and it's a personal preference, I rather make the image dark first and then brighten it up later on. Because if you do the opposite, I feel it can damage the image a little bit. But again, it's just personal preference. I think that's fine. All right. And what I want to do, I want to unify. So I actually don't want too much of detail on the characters here. Because again, they just part of a little bit of side story, but not really what I want to mainly show. Just in case if the eye is wandering through the image. That the viewer has something to look at. Also, it starts now to that we have to think about the edges, like edge work. So finding, like, also you have some, at a certain point you have to decide what type of look you also want to have for your image, right? So do you want a very crisp, photo-y look, or do you want something a little bit more painterly? And that also is influenced by the way of edge work you have. And by edge work, I mean, if you look at something, like for example, this arm in the foreground here, it has hard edges mostly. But when you want to create something interesting, you have to create a certain rhythm, which is a rhythm of hard, soft, and firm edges. And that's what you actually want. So it looks really, it's interesting. So it keeps the eye being busy, but not too busy. And it's a natural way of moving through the image. And in nature, there are actually a lot of soft edges, but sometimes things move so fast that we don't really see it. Just as a little note. And here we can actually add a little bit of gradient here, because shadow and light is traveling, right? So we can add a transition here. Oops. But yeah, we have to make sure that it's not going too dark here. At the end, we can always brighten stuff up. And I always prefer brighten stuff up, then darken stuff later on. What are you all doing? Dun, 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 dun. Hey Mira, how you doing? I hope you had a good day. How many % do I think about that image? That's a good question. I mean, it really depends on where we're going to go with it. So, I mean, it's a process, right? So first we're going to focus on detailing the focal point, which is the guy in the foreground and the guy in the middle. So the guy in the middle is basically the key thing, and everything should work around it. And like, depending on how much detail he's going to get and everything around, we need to spend more. So the image could technically be at 60%, but it could also be at 80%, depending on how much more. Like, sometimes you cannot really say it, and I also speak just on personal experience. So don't take it for 100% for granted, but for me, sometimes there is a certain flow in making an image. So if you're going to start with something, sometimes it's really hard to establish the foundation, and then everything makes sense and everything's interlocking at the end and everything works out as you wanted it to. But these cases are not so often for me. For me, like, sometimes the beginning is very good, then the middle part comes and it's not very good. Like, the middle part is very hard because, like, maybe the planning wasn't good enough, or everything I wanted to do wasn't like as planned as I wanted to. So I change a lot of stuff in the middle part, and then the refinement goes very quick. So I would say we right now in the middle stage still, because we changed a lot since the previous ones. But yeah, I also haven't thought about that, because I also wanted to show everyone that sometimes an image just takes time. I feel like it is often these days that a lot of people try to make images very, very fast because of Instagram or whatever. And if you think about the old masters, they sometimes took, I don't know, really a lot of time just to make one image. So yeah, and it's also about having fun and learning. Like, the more I paint on this image here, or the more I spend, the more I learn about it. So I believe it's just, for me, I don't think about it too much. And also I like that I have something I can paint on stream, you know. Oops. I don't like that. It's really about grouping. So if they stay in that dark area there on the right, behind the wall, it's fine, but they cannot stand out too much. So if the skin of the guy is too bright, like your eye, like when you look at the image the first time, like doom, and then you don't want to look there. Like, you want to look at the focal point. So maybe we can dark it even a little bit more. That's why also we need to dark the stuff behind. What are you all doing? Painting, drawing, eating, chilling? Can actually add just a little bit of reflection. because there's light coming from the right side. I really try to do it as I would paint it traditionally. So now really gently adding things. And if you take more time on your brush strokes and really thinking about what you do, you can, over the longer period of painting the image, you can save a lot of time. Hey Jonah, how's it going? Thank you. It's great, Mira. Yes, I had a good day, a very productive day. Thank you. Thanks, Demorex. Thank you very much. Oh, Jonah, what online course are you drawing for? How do I make sure that my keys are not getting stuck because we use them so many times? I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you have a very old keyboard. Maybe you just get a new one. Because like I bought once a keyboard, I don't know, almost 10 years ago for $100, and I still have it. It doesn't look nice, but nothing is stuck in there. Oh, eating, nice. And you will sketch hands. Oh, I'm excited to see that. But that's great. We need to get those hands going. I can turn up the music a bit, yeah. Is that okay, music-wise, or is it too loud? Please let me know. I think I have a keyboard in my video description. Let me check. I believe there should be my keyboard. Yes, my keyboard is in my video description. So if you go in the video description, there are Amazon links. And there's my keyboard. It's also not so expensive, it's only $50. I can recommend very much. You're welcome. Music is fine. Yeah, please let me know. I don't want to be the quiet dude sitting here, so I hope you can hear the music. But I don't want to be too quiet when I'm talking, so just let me know. Da, 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 da. Otherwise you will hear me zooming, humming, zooming, whatever. Hey Cameron, how's it going? I'm doing great, thank you. How are you? So we have a little edge here, so again, value change equals form change. This seems to be a bit too dark for shadow side. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Like now when I paint, like my mind starts to rambling around. So I'm actually not really too much on the painting with my head. I'm more like, I don't know, thinking about everything else. So yeah, it's actually a good sign. But it can also be dangerous if you lose yourself too much. It really depends. But yeah, image take sometimes really takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. I guess if you just get the feeling from the outside world that everything has to be fast, but sometimes we get tricked because everyone is basically sharing and posting and whatever every day, and you get the feeling of, okay, everyone is producing every day, but that's not the case. It's actually the opposite for most people. We just get tricked into that feeling somehow. So really don't stress yourself with all this stuff. Because we also need to enjoy that. And image making is really freaking hard. It sounds maybe romantic, sitting and drawing and painting and doing that for a living. But it's also very hard. Especially when you're tired and empty and you don't have creative energy. That can be very, very hard. So then it's the only friend you have is the fun on making the image. And yeah, and if you don't have fun on the stuff, why would you do that, right? Okay, we're going to have an edge here. I'm on the edge of painting. The story of the painting is basically, I mean, if you haven't watched the other episodes before, so we actually started with a study. So I just wanted to show how to study something from an image and then taking your study and making an image out of that, which we did. So if you go on the YouTube channel and go back in the episodes, in the first episode we actually did a study, and then we made a sketch, a very simple sketch, and we painted that out of this. That's usually obviously not the way I would normally work. That was very just a demonstration, but we spent so much time on that image. I really wanted to bring it to an end. So we also have a nice community image. So everyone basically participated on that image, on joining every live stream, etc., etc. So I find it a very cool concept in my head. Like, everyone participated by coming to the stream. Yeah, and the story we basically made up on the fly. So it's about the guy leaving the city, and he's about to getting attacked by the guy in the foreground. And it's more of a happy scene, and that's why we want to have this contrast of story. So it's a happy scene, but something bad is about to happen. Yeah, and that's it. It's very simple, very simplistic. But sometimes the simple stuff works the best. You're painting a space bike, nice. Yeah, do I have actually sci-fi work? I have this. The only sci-fi work I have, I think, in my portfolio right now is this thing I did for March for Robots. This was also an image I did in a day, so very fast, not very high render everything, not a lot of planning. Yeah, I usually don't do that much sci-fi. I don't know why. I really love sci-fi, but the thing is, I feel if you do sci-fi, to make a good sci-fi image is really hard, because there should be a lot of research and a lot of good based, how do you say? Like sci-fi for me has to do with tech, you know, so very advanced tech. And it's very hard or very easy to make something look not very, I don't know how to say that, not real, you know? So just by beveling every edge and adding or making something super clean, it doesn't necessarily needs, it looks a little bit sci-fi, but it doesn't necessarily means it's a good sci-fi image, you know? So I don't know, it's not so interesting. What I find personally more interesting is, for example, Cowboy Bebop as a sci-fi. So it's more like this 90s to 2000 technology vibe, like based, but having a little bit more of advanced technology, but not too far, like not too clean, not too, like, not with technology we don't know yet, you know, like certain turbines or engines or whatever. So it's more relatable. So if you see something built, it looks, you see pipes and you see the engine, and it has a certain realism to it, you know. So that's just for me. I stay away from sci-fi right now because it's just, yeah, I feel it's a very complex topic, and I would, yeah, if I want to do sci-fi, I wanted to do it like right, you know. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's the reason. That's the reason why. Hey Chris, welcome to stream. How's it going? And welcome everyone else who joined. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop is like, I mean, it's timeless in a way because it's well made. It's a masterpiece. It's music, composition, storytelling, everything. You have everything from love to drama, action, funny stuff. You have really everything, and there are a lot of nuances which makes this whole series just so brilliant. But a big part is definitely also the execution part in terms of design. Like they kept it very grounded. Like if you look at the ship from Spike, for example, or the Bebop, it is you could believe that someone built that, you know? It doesn't look too fancy. Or every gadget they have, everything they made, it looks like it's like made by an industrial designer, you know? That's really something which, if you ask me, is very important to make a good sci-fi piece. And yeah, I would say I just stay away from that because I would feel the need to make something good or like relatable. But that means it needs a lot of time to prep and to think and research, etc., etc. And if I do fantasy, I would say it's a little bit easier just to do. I don't say it's easy in total, but it's just a little bit easier. And I'm not by any means a master in fantasy. I think fantasy can have a lot of deep layers. But yeah, I just personally feel like it's a little bit easier because you can technically take any historical based thing and just add a certain level of fantasy to it. Yeah, it just needs a lot of prep, you know. I love for example, one of my most favorite movies is The Fifth Element. And it's again, you know, it's actually The Fifth Element is a mix of something very clean designed and all the fashion, but they brought it to a certain level. They kept it through the whole movie. So all the costumes are super clean, the aliens are super clean, but like how they behave in story and everything, they make everything relatable. And at the end, I mean, it's a Bruce Willis action movie where he runs around and shoots people. You know, it's like Die Hard in a way, but it's with love. I mean, I don't remember all the Die Hard movies if there is any component of love, but Luc Besson, for example, as a director, always I think he likes to play with the idea of drama mixed with certain love elements. When you think about Leon the Professional, or I mean even Valerian, like there's always this love component in his movies, you know? So yeah. Do you guys like sci-fi? Do you enjoy making sci-fi stuff? I mean, I think it would be actually an interesting challenge for myself to make something sci-fi. But yeah, I think I would always approach it as I did in college, like all my industrial design stuff, which starts with problem solving, like finding a problem and making something for it. To find a solution to the problem. It's mostly really problem solving. So let's see on it here. It's a bit too bright. Again, same thing as the blacksmiths guys on the right side. We need to see like how's the value grouping working. So for me the bricks right now are a little bit too bright. So we just add a small gradient to that. And we can also use a soft brush as an eraser. And then erase a little bit stuff out, because they also gonna receive a little bit of bounce light from below. So the light which the ground receives a lot of light and then it bounces up. It's going to hit them. Alright. Okay, let's save that also. And we will probably also gonna have some cast shadows below them. Okay. Now we clean the edge. No, it's a bit too dark here. And also they look a little bit too clean, so we also need to make them like imagine having bricks or structure of bricks like they never look that clean. So let's break them apart a little bit and think about like how big is the tiling of it. So we can look at here, for example, like how big the tiling is here. And also like texture scaling when you paint something is very important. And I see that very often. It's also very easy a mistake to make, and it's not bad, but like you have to consider if something goes back in perspective or has a certain depth, then it also scales in texture. So if you have something like a brick texture, it also gets smaller if it goes further back. So for this we can use the line tool again as painting tool to perfectly make something straight. Just indicating that, so also it seems like the angle is not 100% right, because we also see it from below, so the perspective, we cannot forget that. So sometimes it's really like try and error. Let's just go back and see how that looks, because if we create too much noise there, again we're gonna distract the viewer. We don't want. Yeah, Dune is great. I can't wait for the Dune movie. I'm excited to see it. Mira likes fantasy. I can imagine that. Hey Jonah, I didn't know you joined the stream. Welcome. Which online class? Yeah, creature design is really a lot about understanding animals and every sort of like animals, insects, because everything is grounded, everything is based on something. But I also not a creature guy, so I can't tell 100%. I had to design some aliens in the past, but I would never consider myself a creature dude. I'm not so sure about that texture there. It's very contrasty. Maybe it's a bit too dark. Maybe a little bit less. Yeah, I think a little bit less works better. Yeah, that's better. It was just too dark. Alright, got it now. Boom, boom, boom. And now we can just slash that in. Maybe not the same, so it looks like it's really made differently. It also looks a little bit more interesting. Also here changing the rhythm of the stuff. Technically we can also break some bricks out. So I don't know, the viewer get the idea of maybe they got attacked once or something. Like the lower part of it is also too dark. Like it seems like it's almost black. What is it? Oh, it's a 5. So in general, when you paint something, usually 0. Like I also see that sometimes that people take black as total black as shadow. There should never be really a 0, because 0 means absence of light, and the only area where you have that is in space. So up there. So yeah, I would never go darker than a 5 or something. Maybe a 3. It really depends on the image. If it's a night scene, it's obviously a little bit darker, but if it's a daytime scene, I would not go too dark with the stuff. Also, same goes for the light. Like if you want to use white as a highlight, as in gouache painting, for example, you can do that, but you have to be very careful with that. Okay, now let's change the silhouette a little bit. It looks a bit too perfect. And just make it a little bit broken. The class by Night Zhang. Interesting, how is it? Cool, sounds cool. Oh no, it's getting super hot in here. Ah, okay. Yeah, just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. It is so hot. Mira, is it also so hot in Frankfurt? It's so humid, like super wet. Why is it not opaque enough? I don't like that. No, that's the one. Yeah, just like this, taking this more painterly brush. It's very soft, but it also creates some texture, which is cool. Always double checking the image on the small thumbnail I have on left, just to make sure I don't know, accidentally paint something in which looks weird. Also in terms of tangents and everything else. What I always love about good images when the artist is the stuff indicating, just slightly indicating the stuff, but not fully painted. Hey Nico, welcome to the stream and thanks for the follow. Just love it when one artist just indicates certain stuff but not fully painted, and then treat the whole image like that. That's so hard to do. Like, I wouldn't say hard, but it's like, to make it really good is like, you really need a lot of mileage to get there. But that's the beauty about art. There's always stuff you can work on, always stuff you can get better. It's just fun. Yeah, again, and now there will be more people, so on the art community, if you are part of the art community, and if not, you can always feel free to join. Just click on the Discord button on the YouTube banner. We have an art community, and on the next streams we will do live feedback sessions. So if you want to participate, you can post one image in the chat, tag it with stream feedback, and we will also, or you also have the opportunity to join me in the live Discord chat while we talk about over your image. Next stream, it will be a little bit like we did for the portfolio review session, but maybe not 5 hours. That was really a little bit crazy, but something similar, I guess. And yeah, it's just a little thank you from my side to everyone joining and everyone who participate and help each other on the community. So I thought it would be maybe a cool idea just to to make a little feedback session so everyone can post one image they want to get feedback on, and some of the image maybe get more or some a little bit less feedback. It depends really on how far the people are with the image and what they want to know. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun, and we maybe do that. I don't know if we're going to do that on a weekly stream or on the weekends, because it could take a little bit more time. But also we can do that over a couple streams. So if we have really a lot of images to feedback on, I don't know how many we will have, but if we're going to have really a lot, we can also split it over a couple more streams. So I would like to try to avoid not doing a 5-hour stream again. And also not on the week after my day job. But yeah, otherwise we do it on a weekend then. And here also again, like this looks a little bit repetitive. Maybe we can break this up. Maybe it's just one tower here. So a lot of this stuff we already painted, but we just indicated. So it's a good time for us to now to really think about, okay, how much we want to detail it, how much we want to add, and yeah, like everything, that everything comes together gently. Is that better? I'm not sure. I actually don't have a big problem with this second tower. Maybe I keep the second one, but I just kill the small one there. And also maybe make it a little bit smaller because it's in perspective. Never forget the perspective. Maybe something like that. Maybe they have some towers or something. And here it is. Maybe it's a bridge or something. Like a huge bridge where people can walk over. Near Hamburg is all right now? Okay, cool. Yeah, in Berlin it's like it just rained all day, and the last couple of days was super hot. And now we have this weird humid weather. When I got out today, I don't know, I didn't know what to wear because it was hot but also super rainy at the same time. And welcome everyone else to the stream. Feel free to grab a coffee or join. Feel free to draw along, ask questions. Or join our community if you want. We are a bunch of friendly people, I would say. No, we're pretty friendly, pretty nice people in the community, yeah, which I'm very happy about. Just having fun with art. Also, sometimes if you paint something, you can also use the clone stamp tool. So let's say you paint a certain area and you don't want to do everything again, so you could technically take the clone stamp tool here and just add a little bit of that. Of course, you don't want to have a very strong repetition here, but it's cool to save time. Also, if you have something you painted, like a painted texture, for example, which obviously takes a little bit longer than using a photo, you can easily just copy that with the clone stamp tool. Here we need a little bit more of a gradient, like basically the gate. But we need to make sure like it's not killing the value structure. Also squinting the eye, zooming out, looking how it looks, looking how it looks. Now checking how it looks to see how the structure is behaving, that we don't create too much noise or too much attention in an area we don't want. So here, for example, I don't know if I like that edge. I think I want to make that a little bit more straight. Just using the line tool here also for straights. like saving time. Don't need to lasso all that stuff out, but also trying to have an interesting rhythm of hard and soft edges. Same goes for here. Just slowly painting stuff back in. Let's flip the image. It seems like the horse is a little bit too, creates a little bit too much contrast here. Like it, but mostly the dark sides. So maybe we can brighten it up a little bit. I think I like when I put the shadow away, it's brighter and it fits better. But we need some sort of like gradient shadow, so we're just going to take the soft round brush and very gently going to erase a little bit of the volumetric shadow. We actually can do that in black and white here, in grayscale. And now it is basically emerging or merging with the bright spot behind, so it's not competing too much in contrast, which we want, because we don't want the viewer to look there. We don't want the viewer to look at the horse immediately. That's what we had before in the other stage of the image. We want the viewer to look at the guy coming out of the gate, because he's about to get killed by the guy in the foreground. So always think about the purpose and the story you want to tell. And if you just try to do that, like technique and everything else is just a question of time. And I believe everyone can achieve a good image. And I don't pressure myself with making a good image here. It's just about learning, having fun. And you should too. Don't pressure yourself. Have fun. And just enjoy what you do. This looks a bit blank. Also, if you don't know how to paint something, what I can also recommend, look at old masters. Like, I feel like people don't look too much at old master painters. The way they painted, I mean, they painted with oils, traditional paintings, right? So if you look at that, and if you look at their decision making, brush strokes and everything else, you can learn so much. I think they're really underrated. Overrated? Underrated, yeah. Sorry, I always mix that up. So, and here we are not painting shadow, we basically just paint foliage, but we make it a little bit darker while it's going into the shadow. So maybe here's a chimney or something. How does that look? Do I want to have this here? Yeah, I think I like that better. Also the silhouette of that reads a bit better. You see, I'm not someone who paints on one area like the whole time. I'm really jumping around. Because there's also so much in the image here, which we need to do, but I'm more the type of person I like to work on everything a little bit here and there. How long are we painting? For 1 hour now. Let's check the progress. Where did we start it? Where did we start it? Whoop, here I think. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it's going good. It's going forward. Hey, Ubdaf. I hope I didn't butcher your name. Ubdaf. Welcome to the stream. Thanks. How are you doing? What you do? Painting, drawing, chilling. So let's add a little bit more of that yellow flowers in here, just to give it also a bit more different colors, to give it more richness. What we can also do, we could start also to indicate maybe a couple more bricks in here in between. But again, we have to make sure, because it's the brightest spot almost, that we don't go too dark and we don't create too crazy of a contrast. Just like Bob Ross would say, gently adding detail. Every brick needs a friend. I think he said every tree needs a friend, but it's my version. Sorry, Bob. So again, that's what we talked about earlier. The game of indication, just indicating maybe a couple bricks, just very gently, and do that from far away to make sure that's not too dark, not competing with everything else. You would like to say you're an animator? I mean, you can say that. It's good. You are. Yeah, I mean, so you're an aspiring animator. Why not? Nothing bad about that. I'm also an inspiring high professional. Inspiring. I want to be a high professional. I'm just medium. There's always stuff you can get better with. Mira, it was cold. How do you find 18 degrees cold? Maybe it's me because I'm overweight. I don't know. You make some 3D reference for concept art? Nice. It gives you Hearthstone vibes? Okay, cool. I mean, if that's the case, it's cool. I like Hearthstone. Yeah, it was supposed to be Happy Light. We started by doing a study from the Ancient Forest reference pack. I don't know if you would Google Asian forest reference pack, if you would actually find it immediately. But it's also under the first stream where we started this image, I think. So yeah, we did a study, a painting study. Oh, that song again. What is going on? Stream beats, come on. Let me change the music. Stream beats. I need a little bit more action here. How about that? Again, that song. What is up with that song? Yeah, this is all painted. If you go back on the YouTube channel, you can see the progress. Like, I think this is episode 8 or 9, or it's basically stream number 8 or 9. I'm not pretty sure, to be honest. But yeah, this is all painted. And it was actually just meant to be a demonstration for the community, but yeah, it became an image, a community image. I like that the thinking of that we have a community image, so we can also use it later on. Because everyone who joined the stream, everyone who came to the streams, and we had conversations about the story, and yeah, it's a big collab, I would say. I like the idea of it. But usually I would use 3D. I mean, it depends on the complexity also, like how complex is the image and how much reference I have available. But if something is very complex and I wanted to have it very clean, or I needed to have it very clean for work, I also would paint my own texture. So I would basically think about what type of texture is. If it's a room or something, I would paint the texture on a certain in a certain format and then map it into Blender on a plane, and then build a mockup in 3D. If it has to be that clean and very specific. And sometimes I also build like everything in Blender. It really depends what it is. Things at work I don't have too much time to spend in Blender. Like, for me, I would say it's if I can spend 2 days. I mean, I never spend 2 days on a 3D file, to be honest. Never. Like at work, because I just don't have the time for it. Like, most time I spend is like maybe half of a day max. Because we have so much other stuff to do, and then you have to paint the stuff, and everything else has to be concepted, and oops. Is that correct? No, that shadow is not correct. If the light goes through, we're going to have a little bit of... Also, if you have problem with painting and rendering, I cannot say it enough. Do the practice from the How to Render book from Scott Robertson. Simple cubes and cylinders to render, but understanding the analytical process of light and value and form change which equals value change. Understanding that principle is my foundation of painting, because I know technically how light works. Not always perfectly, because sometimes we are not machines, which is fine. But like most of the stuff, it's important just to know how to calculate a cast shadow so you can construct it. How is bounce light working? How reflective a certain surface is. All these things are like things you just learn through repetition, practice, mileage, and exercises like these are in this book. Didn't I paint that? Jumping around. Like a mofo. Show me, show me, show me. Yeah, it's going better. Slowly, slowly. Oh. You can't even begin to imagine the PSD file size. Oh, it's actually, I think, the 8 or 9 PSD version. So I'm basically, every time it became too big because my laptop cannot handle it, I just merge the stuff and then I added it to a new PSD. But we are on layer, if you look on the right, we are on layer 375. So you can imagine how much layers we painted. Hey Gialle, how you doing? How was your day? How did the study goes? I hope it's not too warm in Spain. I feel like the horse needs a little bit less. Needs a little bit less of noise. Maybe just blur that a little bit. Oops. Blur, Gaussian blur. A couple of the stuff is a little bit too crisp. So what I just do is I just blur the whole thing. So I copy it, blur it, and now I just paint out stuff I want to have crisp with the mask. So for example this part here, the horse butt. Maybe the top side. The lower side can be a little bit more blurred, so that's not too crazy of a attention seeker. Yep. Also, I forgot to paint out the bright neck of the guy on the right. Where is my soft brush here? Because it also creates a little bit too much contrast here for my taste. What we can do, we can take a little bit of this here and then add it just a little bit to the elbow because the light is coming here. But just very gently, not too much. We don't want to, again, we don't want too much contrast. We don't want too much, like, that someone is looking there right away. Just very gently adding stuff. How's everyone else doing? Oh, the Mobile World Congress of Barcelona? Nice. Yeah, don't worry. I mean, you did almost a study every day, right, Giale? So it's totally fine. Also, how's the other homework going? Yeah, that really sounds fancy. Dun, 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 dun. I was actually thinking if we should add some sort of clothing lines here, but I'm not sure if that makes it too goofy. You know, so like if we would do something like this. Oh. Is this actually? Oh, okay. So something like this, you know. Problem is that could easily also break the composition chain and also can stop the eye. So this can be good, but it can also be bad. Like it really has to be done well. But if you think about Assassin's Creed, for example, like I think they have this a lot in the game, where you can run over it, those ropes from building to building. But if you do that, it really becomes a composition element. So it has to make sense also, and not. It's not good if it kills your image. It potentially can. How about here? Or here? I mean, we could also think like, because like those people here are following him or walking behind him. So I haven't thought about if there is some sort of like fest or something going on. Then it would maybe make sense to have some sort of, I don't know, banners or pennants or whatever. But if we do something like that, you know, like here, or I don't know, adding clothing or something, it can also make something more believable. But yeah, it's you have to be careful with that. I don't do character concept right now. I'm an environment concept artist. I have done character concept in the past, but not for work right now. Like in my company, I'm sometimes I also do characters, but just if they need me, like if we don't have enough capacity or enough man and women power, I do those. Oh, that's cool. Sounds interesting, Jelle. Cool. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. I wonder if they had something like this. Let me do some research here. Oh, let me also save the image before. Safety first. Alright, medieval town. Thing is like we could look at stuff or images and think about what could make it a little bit more believable. Okay, they had also, I mean that looks pretty not so common, to be honest. Okay, that's a concept, that's not real. Man, those 3D renders become so good. Sometimes you think it's an image, but it's basically a 3D render. What assignments, homework to work on for your figures? I would always start with perspective in terms of geometric forms and figures. Like everyone who's part of the mentorship or my mentorship program has to do that to a certain point, which is basically blocking in complex forms in perspective and blocking in characters out of complex forms. It's a very good exercise, not only to learn composition, but also to get a feeling for spacing. And you already start with learning proportion and everything, and then the next step is adding anatomy on top. And then I would recommend not to learn everything simultaneously. Just take, like for every part of the anatomy, take a certain time frame. Alright, I have some cool images here. Let me check that. So we could either add some sort of like planks coming out of the house. So something like, let me sketch it in. So we could add something like Let's use the line tool for that. So it seems like some of the houses had some sort of like planks coming out like this. But yeah, and I think we need to make sure that it's fitting. The other way, I mean, we could do something like any types of cloth, or I don't know, stuff like this. But you can see here that also it would create a lot of contrast, and we need to ask ourselves if it's really helping the image. The other thing we could do, we could add some sort of pennants. So let's say they have, I don't know, maybe they celebrate something. So we basically have pennants here in the back. I don't know, like maybe here or something. And we have them just sketching it in very quick here. Maybe they have also some pennants. We could actually also do colored pennants, so I don't know, yellow or something, which would be believable for that time. Let's give it a little bit more saturation. Yeah, maybe something like this, just quickly sketching it in. And then we also had some sort of element which is basically selling more perspective, like depth, because it's going smaller and smaller in perspective. And what we can also do, we can make them move. So we angle them and create some sort of movement. So let's say there's wind blowing, because we also have birds. Like, that's why birds are working very well in images. Birds are usually not standing. They're always moving and flying. So it automatically creates some sort of movement. And if you can add some movement to your image, it automatically will push up the quality. And that's the same for any type of pennants, any type of which can blow in the wind, dust flying around, particles, etc., etc. So that could be another option here. But if we would add some sort of like pennants and stuff, it would make the image even happier. And I'm not sure if I want to do that, because there's something bad to happen. So let's just continue with the render, and I will think about it. Okay, maybe we can focus now a little bit here on the character. There's still so much to do, but we should start to maybe detail a little bit more the focal point. Cleaning out his silhouette. Again, dust brush, perfect here. Dust brush as much tool. Best brush to just blend values and colors together. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have an episode on how to blend colors. Oi. What's going on with the bots? Let me kick the bots. can I kick them? Can I actually kick them? Oh, now I hear myself twice. Lol. Block them. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Mira can confirm the practice of anatomy, and I think Giale can also confirm that. It's just the best exercise to do that. How long are we work on that image? 1 hour and 45 minutes already. Okay. Let's continue at least for another 30 minutes. Let's put the turbo on. Giving him a little bit more volumetric light, making him more pop. So adding a couple reds to the light, because he's the focal point. Maybe a little bit too much, but we can take that away. I think we can also. I wonder if he is a little bit too small. He looks a little bit too small for my taste. Is that the only here? Yes. Where is he actually? Here is he. I think I want to scale him up a little bit. Oh, where's all the rest? Where's all that? I mean, we already cut all the layers, but I'm still still not sure where's what. Ah, here it is. Okay. So let's merge them, cut them out, bring it back in. And And we have this already. Okay, let's scale him up first. Because he feels like he's a little bit too small for my taste. If I look at the horse, I mean, it could be a big horse, but still the guy looks a little bit too small. Just imagining the horse kicking him. Like, where would the foot of the horse be? It looks actually quite good here. Maybe moving him a little bit more. So compositionally, I'm basically looking at the small thumbnail on the left, which you guys cannot see. So it's basically like this size here, just to see how the readability is. Let me flip it. I think that's better. It was a little bit too small. Then we can, let's add this again here. So we could technically also add a little bit of cast shadow on his foot, because he just stepped into the shadow with his front foot. And then we can also push the values on him a little bit. So if I put it here on grayscale and basically darken his ambient occlusion shadows. Just to give him more contrast. Because we want the viewer to look at him. Yeah. See, Loomis has his methods, I have my my methods. How high can a horse kick? Now it's also like 2 years ago I rode a horse for the first time. And then I realized how tall they actually are, but like also where you're standing when you stand next to them. Which is interesting, just to know. And I mean, imagining getting a horse kick in your face. Probably not very nice. I think that's okay. I wonder if I should make the dude a little bit darker. What values? Oh, it's already a 3. See, and that's what I meant before. Like his darkest darks are already a 3 and a 4. So I technically can't make him darker. Because then it looks like, yeah, if like someone would paint with direct black, and that's not what you want. Right, let's continue here. Wait, before that, I was seeing something here. I'm seeing that this behind the guys here is a bit too dark. It's creating a lot of contrast. All right. So I think I will pretty soon change the stream. Because I want to play, I think, a little bit of classic. And I actually want to test if my laptop is making it. And it's also a reward system, so progressing with this image, and I reward myself. And you should too, also. If any of you ever consider that, you should always reward yourself for work, things which are not easy for you to do. It's very, very important. Fun fact, actually, when I was starting training, when I was 17, leg training, like training legs, was very, very hard for me. And it was so hard that I really hated it, and I really liked training arms. So every time when I did a successful leg training, I rewarded myself with arm training afterwards. So I basically made myself training legs with this method, which is simply just reward system, but it worked, and that's something you can use also for art, drawing, or whatever. Don't like this change of the silhouette here. Let me merge that. Focal point. Yeah, totally. I totally agree that, Giala. Hey, Yannis, how's it going? Yes, the horse ass changed. Thanks, Yannis. Very much appreciated. How are you doing, by the way? How's everything going? Do you have school holidays now? Summer holidays? you're rewarding yourself with midnight snacks. I mean, if you can compensate that on the long run, I guess that's fine. But yeah, what I usually would do, like in terms of reward, I would reward myself with going to the gym, to be honest. Because for today, I was sitting since 8 o'clock this morning. I'm sitting in front of the PC. So I would reward myself with going to the gym and lifting weights, because I just love to do that. But unfortunately, I hurt my foot a couple days ago. So walking is still not my thing right now. So I'm just, yeah. I probably reward myself now with playing some, I don't know. I think I will play some classic WoW. Haven't done that for a long time. And I also want to test if the laptop is capable of streaming and playing simultaneously. So I'm really curious to see how the performance will be. It's also going to be the first time that I'm going to stream a game, so I'm curious. But yeah, again, for that I will quickly then turn off the stream here on YouTube, because it had nothing to do with the educational content. And then I just will stream on Twitch. What do we give him for his color? Like cola? How do you say that? Cola? What changes? Do you mean getting a text number and stuff, or what are you talking about? The music reminds me a little bit of the fighting scene in Matrix. Like the paste. Dun 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 dun. But maybe it's just my weird association? I don't know. Sorry guys and girls. It was a long day. Oh shoot. Oh Janis, that doesn't sound good. Have you written in your contract how many changes you're going to do? Yeah, I mean, usually it is worth, but it also, like, it really depends on how big are the changes and how clear were the instructions. I mean, you can judge that best, but just be careful that you don't get, like, that they don't take advantage of you, you know? Because if you don't have something like that in your contract, then sometimes they can take it very far. Hey Dave, how's it going? Welcome to stream. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I just we changed a lot of this image. So the latest status was this, and I was adding too much stuff to it, and it wasn't helping with the story and selling point and like everything. The thing is, like, we worked from it was just a demo, like taking a study to an image from imagination. But it's like, that's not how I work usually. I plan my images and I use 3D and stuff, so I take more time prepping. So it was on the fly, and that's why a lot of stuff didn't work well as I wanted to. So I just changed it here, and I got a little bit of feedback, and I just overpainted a lot of stuff. Killed the baby basically. So I don't know. As long as I enjoy it, let's say it like that. If I'm used to work with music, it depends. I have a playlist or couple playlists which I use when I work to get into zone. Yes, that's definitely the case, but I also like to work completely silent, you know, like having no music, nothing. No YouTube video, nothing, no one talking or anything. That's why, like, a home office, like working from home, is really something for me, because like no one's talking, everything is quiet. I pretty much enjoy that. Dun, 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 dun. You can make it actually a little bit more crooked looking. Don't want it too perfect. Okay, let's check the progress for today. Okay, we are going there. Slowly, slowly. yeah, Janis, you have such a good attitude. But that's really good. That's a good attitude. Also, if you're not depending on the money. It just sounded to me like that you're not enjoying it to do everything again, you know? Alrighty, okay. I think I will switch the stream now. So I will move on to playing a couple games on the Twitch, only on Twitch now. For that, I will shut down the stream here on YouTube and then reopen the stream on Twitch in a couple minutes. For everyone who joined today, thanks for joining. Thanks for, I hope you could learn something. You had some fun, and I could answer some questions. We will continue with that, or we will probably do the feedback session next time. So for everyone who just joined, we will do a feedback session. If you want to participate in the feedback session, you just have to join the art community, go into the critique channel and post one artwork, one JPEG you want to get feedback on with the tag stream feedback, and then I'm gonna take that and we going to do a feedback session where I paint over that on the live stream. And you also have the chance to join the Discord channel in terms of voice, so we can basically talk while I paint over it, because I felt like there's going to be a bit more interesting interaction. So yes, again, thanks everyone for joining. I hope you had fun, and we will switch the stream now. And yeah, for everyone who wants to join me there on Twitch, it's going to be in a couple minutes. And yeah, otherwise I wish you all a wonderful evening. Take care, and see you very soon on the next live stream next week. You're thinking of creating a list of websites that offers tutorials or lessons? Yeah, you can always, if you have resources which are not like things people have to pay for, you can always share that. And the sharing is caring. That's what it's for. All right, I'm switching the stream. See you in a minute. Take care, everyone. Ciao, ciao.